What's up, everyone? So today I just want to share a recent experience that I had, which I find really intriguing, and how I fucking solve this fucking issue. So last Tuesday, I woke up in the morning and I noticed that both of my lymph nodes in my neck were swollen, and they were swollen up to be about the size of golf balls. It turns out that my ear piercings I had just stretched out even more and sized up on were infected with what I observed to be staph infection. So, I had to lay down and think for a while, and I decided to use the tea tree oil that I had just bought a couple days ago, which I kind of honestly feel like the universe kind of like gave me this inclination to go out and buy tea tree oil, which originally I was going to use for a mouthwash, but I ended up putting it to even better use in preparation for this infection that I had. So, I also have some tea tree oil soap that I bought from Trader Joe's. So I decided to clean my ears with tea tree oil, and I also use witch hazel every now and then. And I raise my intake of antibiotic foods, herbs, and spices. What kind of herbs, foods, and spices did I use? Well, I'm a really big believer in raw garlic. As a matter of fact, Russians, I'm not sure what war it was, but back, I'm not really a big fan, knowledgeable about history and wars yet, but I will be. I'm in college now, motherfuckers. But apparently Russians used garlic whenever they ran out of penicillin, if they had infections in their wounds during war. So just think about that. And war times, soldiers were constantly getting wounded and constantly getting infected. And when they ran out of penicillin, which is like the prescription grade antibiotics, they literally just used garlic instead. So that just goes to show you, if they're replacing a prescription grade antibiotic like penicillin with fucking garlic, that says that garlic is, has just as great results or effects as penicillin, or close to it at least. I mean, they're using that shit in war. I mean, seriously, as a replacement for penicillin. So, I ate even more raw garlic, which made my tongue fucking burn like a motherfucker. It made my nose drain, my eyes water. It really helps to cleanse out the respiratory system, and I believe it also boosts circulation. It has very potent anti-pathogenic properties, extremely great against fungal infections, pathogenic infections of all sorts and kinds. I also raised my intake of raw onions, and I raised my intake of turmeric. I started eating about 2 tablespoons of turmeric with every meal. That's a lot of turmeric compared to most people who use turmeric therapeutically. And of course, along with the turmeric, I also used freshly ground black pepper. Now, number one, black pepper has been shown to increase absorption of curcumin, which is turmeric's active ingredient, by 40%? Something like that, something crazy like that. But black pepper has been used traditionally along with turmeric in order to help, boost the effects and cleanse the body. Herbs are better used in synergy. And then, of course, cayenne pepper, which we all know fucking cayenne pepper has the power to pull somebody out of a heart attack when the heart attack is happening. That's one of the great circulation boosting effects of fucking cayenne pepper. But furthermore, it helps to heat up the body. It helps to induce a higher grade fever within the body. It heats it up, boosts circulation, cleanses out the body, and altogether it really, really helps with the anti-bacterial effect that I'm aiming for with these foods. Of course, I also drink a lot of green tea and black tea, and I raised up my intake later on. And then on top of that, I also consumed a lot more apple cider vinegar, because apple cider vinegar, a lot of people have used apple cider vinegar raw, unpasteurized organic apple cider vinegar, in order to cleanse the lymph system. I've seen testimonials of many people that claim they had swollen lymph nodes, and they started to drink up to a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar every day, and all of a sudden their lymph nodes, the swelling went down. But for me, of course, I like to go balls to the wall, so I was doing 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar about 2 to 3 times a day, usually in a salad, but I also would make a little warm water and put the apple cider vinegar in there, and then I would mix in some ginger, some powdered ginger. Now you want to use pure ginger that does not have any additives like whatever, titanium dioxide or whatever else they use, and bullshit ass cayenne peppers. Then of course I continued on with eating greens and stuff like that, and miraculously the staph infection healed within 3 days of using the tea tree oil soap on it. My lymph swelling has gone down from golf ball size to about as small as a tiny pebble. This is the ear, as you can see. It's no longer swelling. It was extremely inflamed before, but now it's just really fucking dry, and that's really the side effect of tea tree oil. Tea tree oil has extreme antibiotic properties when used externally. Do not drink that shit. But of course, most estrogens or antibacterial type shit, like even creams and stuff like that they prescribe commonly, these can dry out the skin. Anti-acne medications can dry out the skin. So I have like dried fucking skin all over my face now. And right here you can see irritation from using the tea tree oil soap on my face. And it was clearing up this acne that I had at first, but then I started to realize it started to irritate my skin, and the infection is no longer oozing or anything like it was. It was really fucking nasty. So that's excellent, and that was within 3 days. I noticed it just literally, my ear dried the fuck up and everything was cool. Now my infection also it did spread the first day to my elbow, and also I have this burn on my finger that also got infected at that time on Tuesday, the same day I noticed all this swelling. So I used a tea tree oil soap on my entire body, and I really just vigorously applied it to these areas, and this infection cleared up real quick. And I was using witch hazel and other things on this one as well. And just as a preventive measure, I did mix some tea tree oil with witch hazel and a little bit of water in a little tincture dropper, and I put a couple drops of this mixture inside my ear and also on the ear itself, even after it healed. The tea tree oil soap was amazing, and that alone was really what stopped it. But I had to stop washing so much with the tea tree oil soap, and I literally have just been rinsing my face with cold and hot water now because of how dry my face has gotten. But I'm really not concerned at all with any kind of further infection. So the lymph swelling has went down and everything else. It was very, very stressful because for the previous week before I got the infection, I was extremely malnourished because I had changed my diet to where I was eating more grains. I went out and spent like, $60 on different types of rice, beans, and other things, because I was really trying to boost my beneficial bacteria with healthy starches, which rice and beans and things are supposed to boost your gut flora and boost your immune system. But for me, my digestive system was rejecting it. I was crapping out undigested grains and beans and stuff, which is common and has been common for a while. And furthermore, it was causing me gas and bloating, and I wasn't absorbing most of the calories I was getting, which was the grains and stuff. So that was right around the time I got infected that I changed my diet back to how it was before. I feel like the grains and things for me were lowering my immunity, just because for me they don't work my digestive system at the moment. Whether that's because of lack of enzymes or something of that nature. Maybe I have a candida infection, anything of that nature. The point is that I was malnourished, wasn't getting the nutrition that I needed, and I just felt stressed and fucked up. So changing my diet at the beginning of the week, around the time this infection happened, really helped a lot. I realized I wasn't eating calories at all because, since I wasn't digesting the rice, there was no food groups I was consuming that was really giving me any calories. So, on top of adding, the raw garlic and the cayenne pepper and turmeric and things, I've been eating a lot of red meat, grass-fed red meat, because there's a significant difference between grass-fed, 100% grass-fed beef and pasture-raised animals compared to conventional animals. A lot of the studies that point animal foods to increased risk of illness, they use conventional products, and we, looking at the statistics and the data of there's significant differences. It's been scientifically proven, and it just is common fucking sense. You are what you eat, and this applies to the animals as well. The animals that were fed grain and things has significantly lower levels of vitamin A, of vitamin E, I believe vitamin D. I'm not really sure about that one. Omega-3s, CLA, and they had more cholesterol, the ones that were fed grain. And of course, it's just more sickness and toxicity, because when you feed animals grains and things that they're not supposed to be eating, their immune system gets fucked up. When their immune system gets fucked up, that means more antibiotics are needed to compensate. And so instead of just feeding them antibiotics and all these bullshit, you just get to the root of the problem, boost their immune system by feeding them the grass and things that these animals are supposed to be eating in the first place. And so, for me, I guess I was kind of a sick cow, and so I started eating the foods that I'm meant to eat. So that means making a lot of stir fries and curry with grass-fed beef, and then I eat a lot of fucking greens, and then of course a fuck ton of spices, a lot of superfoods, a lot of maca root. I've been doing reishi mushroom up the ass. I love reishi mushroom. It's amazing. Rhodiola here and there, and I like to use Mucuna Purins. This is my favorite brand. It's good. This one's a good one too. Yeah, and I just cut out most of the grains, and really the only carbohydrates I've gotten this week were from either black sesame seeds or carrots and vegetables. I really cannot digest most starches worth the fuck. Potatoes and tubers like that. I can digest maca root just fine, but not potatoes. And then I noticed when I ate a fuck ton of grapes by themselves, I did have what seemed to be a sugar crash afterwards, and it looked like my body was reacting in a way that made me think maybe there was some kind of yeast infection that was going on. And if that's the case, it's because of all the undigested food I was eating, which was the grains and the beans and things my body for some reason was rejecting. So when I removed these foods and then added in the foods that I really was craving, rich in iron and other amazing things and high in calorie density, my immune system started to act better. So anyways, the takeaway from this is that if you have some kind of infection, tea tree oil is fucking amazing for it, but I will say that it will fuck up your skin if you use it for too long. Okay, so there needs to be a balance. Like, for instance, I was washing my hands vigorously every couple hours with tea tree oil soap, and then this is a little irritation on my finger that happened this time. And this has happened to me in the past, where I would use tea tree oil on my hands and I would wash them over and over again, and it would cause rashes up the ass. So I would recommend just using it on the area that might be infected. And you could also use witch hazel. You can make a little dropper like I did, or you can just use a soap, which is the easiest way. And then if there's any kind of irritation, you could also use coconut oil after using it, but I would recommend just dry the fuck out of the infection, use tea tree oil, and then boost your internal antibiotics. Okay, so another good natural antibiotic besides garlic, cayenne pepper, turmeric, and these things, and then apple cider vinegar and ginger would be grapefruit seed extract. Okay, that's been proven to be great, but it's also been shown to decrease the beneficial bacteria a little bit, so you definitely want to just use that for a little while and don't go overboard on it. You could also use oil of oregano, which has been shown to be great as long as you get a pure oil of oregano. Dilute that shit in water because it'll burn your ass otherwise. See, and then echinacea with golden seal is excellent because golden seal actually is a potent antibiotic herb, antipathogenic, antiviral, and it's just great. It's the first thing that came to my mind. I didn't use it personally, not this time, but it wasn't necessary in my case. But for someone with less of a great knowledge of diet and maybe a little bit less off on the immune system, this could be a great combination because echinacea helps to boost the immune system. It boosts killer cells that kill off fucking infections and things of that nature. And then the golden seal is amazingly antibacterial. It's a great combination. But overall, you can just boost your fucking intake of beneficial healing foods, which like I did. And literally in 3 days, the infection went away. And then continuing on just, washing out the infection a little bit every day, not enough to dry it out. And continuing on the garlic and antibacterial herbs and immune boosting foods and eating a good clean diet, as well as jumping up and down and jogging to help boost the lymph system. Movement is excellent and it's great for boosting the lymph. You need to move that infection out of the lymph system and drain that shit. Also, contrast showers, like hot and cold. You get in the shower, you turn it on burning hot for about 30 seconds, and then you turn it down to freezing cold for 30 seconds. And over time, your body will get used to the fluctuations of temperature, and you'll get excellent. And for me, this was a very stressful week, because not only was I battling a fucking infection like that, and I was stressing out over it. I was like, oh fuck, what else could I do? Do I have enough money to buy, all these top quality herbs and fucking blah blah blah, what the hell? But on top of that, I also have been getting prepared for college. I had to do exams this week. I literally got no sleep Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So, that's crazy. I barely slept and I still was killing this infection. On top of that, I had to change out fresh bed sheets and pillowcases every fucking day because the infection was draining on my pillow. And so cleaning it out was helping to keep the bacteria under control, and then changing my fucking sheets and things was helping so that no bacteria was spreading to other areas. So very important that you get a lot of rest. Literally the last couple days I've just been relaxing since I wasn't getting much sleep anyway. And then going out in the sun and grounding is excellent. Just today, my infection's done with, but I went out and stepped barefoot on some grass. I was doing some martial arts barefoot in the grass, jogging, jumping up and down the grass, standing on the grass. And then it was about 3 p.m., so I was getting some really hardcore sun, really enjoying and enduring the summer sun. So the vitamin D enriches my immune system, and the grounding, just like all other animals and organisms on the planet, we need to stand on the fucking earth barefoot, because that's how we were fucking born to live, And there's a lot of studies that are showing the possibility, basically backing up what I'm saying, which is that it helps with inflammation, helps to boost the immune system and cure or help to heal infections. Definitely when I start grounding, I swear, it just makes me breathe deeper, it makes me feel better, clear-minded, it helps to relax my body. It really is crazy and spontaneous. Like the minute I put my feet on the ground barefoot, all my worries in the world just change, and it really just changes the whole theme of my day. Like I could be stressed as fuck, but then the minute that I just give into it and I relax and I stand on the ground barefoot, like my whole day is just relaxed from there. So it's excellent. But I didn't do that during the infection. So just basically the teacher oil soap alone really was a big thing. But so hopefully this is helpful. This is my experience with staph infection that spread to my fucking elbow and my hand and other areas of my body and was really, really nasty. My ears were swollen up like crazy. My lymph nodes were pretty bad. Right now they're down to about maybe a pebble size. So that's, they were like golf ball size. They were like this big. I could literally see the swelling. But now you can't really tell that my lymph nodes are swollen. as much because they've gone down to like, you know, that size. So hopefully it's been helpful. Like, comment, and subscribe. Conversation is welcome. Have a great day, and let me know if you want any more advice or have any questions.